Welcome to this deep dive, and today we're going to be exploring Sophocles Antigone.
Yeah.
We've got the play itself, of course, and
Verse.
some insightful scholarly commentary to sort of guide our exploration.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful.
Our
Oh,
goal,
no.
I guess, is to uncover why Antigone continues to resonate with audiences,
Yeah.
even, centuries after it was first performed.
Yeah, it's really remarkable, isn't it?
It really is, and what valuable lessons can we actually extract from this?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not just an ancient Greek drama.
Uh,
It's like this mirror reflecting these timeless human struggles
Right.
and moral dilemmas.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's sort of start with like the heart of the conflict here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Antigone,
Yeah. Okay.
determined to bury her brother Polynices, despite King Creon's order not to.
Yes.
It's like this head-on collision between individual conscience
Absolutely.
and state authority,
Yeah.
right?
You got it.
That's sort of the
That's the core tension right there
central
at the heart of the play.
tension right there.
What makes Antigone's defiance so compelling
Yeah.
is that it's not just about like blind obedience to religious rules or anything like that.
Yeah.
She's really driven by this unwavering belief
Right.
in this higher moral code.
Higher moral code.
Yeah, and she even calls it the unwritten laws
Unwritten laws.
that govern family bonds and the afterlife.
It's really interesting that she uses the term unwritten laws,
Yeah.
right? Because there's this juxtaposition between the written laws
Temps act
of Creon
of the state,
and her unwritten laws.
the laws of the gods.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting because she actually says in the play,
Yes,
I have to please the dead far longer than I need to please the living.
that's the line.
Really highlights her unwavering commitment
It really does.
to her principles.
Powerful stuff.
But speaking of strong convictions, right?
Yes, let's talk about Creon.
Creon's a force to be reckoned with too, isn't he?
Absolutely.
He's so rigidly bound to his own laws that he can't even see the potential for mercy.
Right.
When his own son Haman
Yeah.
begs him to reconsider.
It's classic hubris.
Classic hubris.
That excessive pride that so often leads to downfall in Greek tragedy.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because
It is.
he's not portrayed as some like mustache-twirling villain.
No, not at all.
Like he genuinely believes that he's acting
Right.
in the best interest of the state.
Absolutely. He thinks he's doing what's right for everybody.
Yeah, and that's what makes it
So
so
that's the complexity of.
complicated.
Right.
That makes it so much more than a simple morality tale.
Exactly.
Sophocles doesn't offer easy answers
No.
or paint his characters as like simply good or simply bad.
He forces us to confront those gray areas
Yeah.
of human decision-making.
Speaking of nuanced perspectives,
So they?
the chorus plays a pretty significant role in this drama too.
Oh, for sure.
They're more than just like background singers, right?
Way more.
They're not just there to
They're active participants.
provide a little bit of music.
Think of them as like the voice of the Theban citizens,
Oh, interesting.
expressing all their hopes and anxieties about what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
They comment on the actions of like Antigone and Creon.
Right.
Sometimes they even like directly challenge Creon.
Yeah.
You know, they're not afraid to speak truth to power.
So they offer a different lens
They do.
through which to view
Yeah,
these unfolding events.
right. They remind us of the wider impact
The wider impacts.
of these individual choices.
So it's not just about Antigone and Creon
It's about the whole community.
and their decisions.
Exactly.
It's about the entire city of Thebes
The ripple effects.
and how these decisions affect everyone.
That's right.
So we have this incredibly tense central conflict,
Yeah.
strong characters driven by these deeply held beliefs,
Absolutely.
and this underlying question of like, what happens when individual conscience clashes with the power of the state?
It's the age-old question, isn't it?
It is.
And it's playing out right here in front of us.
It feels so relevant,
It does.
even though it was written thousands of years ago.
That's the power of great literature, though, isn't it?
It really is.
To tap into those fundamental human experiences.
Exactly.
Those dilemmas that just transcend time and place.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork.
Yeah, I think we have.
We've explored this core conflict.
We've set the stage.
We've touched on the roles of these key players.
All the major players.
I'm hooked.
Me too.
But where do we go from here?
Well, let's delve a little deeper
Okay.
into why Antigone continues to hold such relevance for, like, modern audiences.
I'm ready.
All right, buckle up because it's going to be a fascinating ride.
Let's go.
It's really amazing how Sophocles uses this story to grapple with these huge moral and political questions.
Yeah.
He doesn't offer these simplistic solutions.
Right.
Instead, he presents us with these characters
Yeah.
forced to make these really, really tough choices.
Tough choices.
They have these far-reaching consequences.
Yeah, and those consequences are pretty devastating. They are.
I mean, this is a tragedy after all.
That's right.
We see how Antigone's unwavering commitment to her beliefs ultimately leads to her own demise.
It does.
And then Creon's stubbornness
Right.
destroys his family and throws the city into turmoil.
Absolutely. It's chaos.
It really makes you think about the nature of power
It does.
and the limits of personal conviction
Yeah.
and the heavy price sometimes paid for standing up for what you believe is right.
And it also makes you think about fate.
Fate.
Was Antigone destined for this tragic end?
Yeah, was it inevitable?
Or was there even a tiny possibility
Right.
for a different outcome?
It really makes you think about how much control we have over our own destinies.
It does.
This whole discussion about
Yeah.
women defying societal norms
Right.
reminds me of another powerful Sophocles play,
Oh, which one?
Electra.
Ah, yes.
Both Antigone and Electra are these strong,
Strong women.
determined women
Yeah.
who challenge authority.
They do that. But their motivations and their methods are so distinct.
Very different.
Electra is fueled by vengeance, right?
Absolutely. She wants to punish those who murdered her father.
Agamemnon.
Agamemnon. That's right.
But Antigone
Yeah.
is driven by love and this profound sense of duty
Duty to family,
to her family.
even in death.
Exact.
It's fascinating how Sophocles explores these different facets of female agency.
And they're both operating
He is.
within the constraints of ancient Greek society,
Right.
where women had very limited rights
Very limited.
and were largely confined to the domestic sphere.
Yeah, it was a patriarchal society.
But through characters like Antigone and Electra,
Right.
Sophocles gives voice to their strength,
Their resilience.
resilience.
Their capacity to challenge the status quo.
Yeah, and it's not just their actions.
No.
It's their words.
It's how they speak truth to power.
They challenge authority figures.
Yeah.
They refuse to be silenced.
They will not be silenced.
It makes me think about this quote from the historian Thucydides.
Okay.
He attributes it to Pericles,
All right.
the Athenian statesman.
I know Pericles.
And it's so revealing.
And what is it?
He says, "The greatest glory of a woman is to be least talked about by men, whether in praise or in criticism."
Wow. So basically, women should just be invisible.
Yeah, stay silent
Stay out of the public eye.
and out of the public eye.
But Antigone and Electra,
Completely shatter that expectation.
they challenge those norms.
It's like Sophocles is using these characters
Yeah.
to expose the hypocrisy
The hypocrisy.
and the limitations
The limitations placed on women.
placed on women in Athenian society.
He's really critiquing the patriarchal system.
And it's worth noting
Yeah.
that Sophocles doesn't shy away from portraying women
Right.
in all their complexity.
Yeah, he does.
Clytemnestra,
Yeah.
Agamemnon's wife,
And Electra's mother.
is a prime example.
Oh, yeah. She's a fascinating character.
She's the one who orchestrates Agamemnon's murder,
She is.
and she's not afraid to assert her will
No, she's not.
or to take decisive action,
She takes control of her own destiny.
even if those actions are considered morally ambiguous.
Right. She's a complex figure.
Clytemnestra is a fascinating and controversial figure.
She is.
She's driven by revenge, but also a desire for power and agency.
Power and agency.
Her actions defy these traditional gender roles and expectations.
She does not conform.
It reminds us that women in ancient Greece,
Yeah.
though largely marginalized,
They were.
could still exert significant influence,
They could.
even if it meant resorting to extreme measures.
Sometimes extreme measures were necessary.
So we have these incredible female characters,
We do.
each navigating the constraints of their society
In their own way.
in unique ways, making tough choices,
Tough choice.
facing the repercussions of their actions.
As facing the consequences.
It's both captivating and heartbreaking.
It is.
But for me, what makes Antigone so profoundly relevant
Yeah.
is how it speaks to these enduring human struggles.
The struggles that we still grapple with today.
Yes, the play's themes of civil disobedience,
Right.
the clash between individual conscience and state power,
The abuse of authority.
and the use of authority.
It's all there.
These resonate across time and cultures.
They do.
It's like holding a mirror up to ourselves.
It is.
We see our own struggles reflected in these characters.
We see ourselves in Antigone and Creon.
It's a powerful reminder that the dilemmas we face as individuals and as societies are often timeless.
Timeless and universal.
And it does all of this
Yeah.
with such breathtaking language and imagery.
Sophocles was a master
He really was.
of language.
Yeah.
A master of his craft.
I'm always struck by how he uses language to create atmosphere
Atmosphere.
and amplify the drama.
Just hating the emotional impact.
I still get chills
I do too.
when I read Antigone's speech, where she compares herself to a ship tossed on a stormy sea,
That's a powerful image.
buffeted by the winds of fate.
It really is.
It's just so powerful.
Powerful and evocative.
So, as we kind of approach the end of our deep dive into Antigone,
Okay.
what are some of the key takeaways
Yeah.
you'd like to leave our listener with?
What stands out to you as particularly relevant for someone engaging with this play today?
I think for me, Antigone is like this reminder that
Yeah.
some conflicts are just so deeply rooted
Mm.
in these fundamental values
Yeah.
that compromise just seems impossible.
Right.
And it makes you ask yourself, like, what would I do?
Yeah.
What would I do in that situation?
What would you do?
Would I have the courage
Right. To stand up.
to stand up for what's right,
For what I believe in,
even if it meant defying authority
even if it meant,
and facing consequences?
really terrible consequences.
Yeah, you really have to look inward.
Yeah, examine your own.
Examine that moral compass.
Moral compass.
Ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice
Yeah.
for my principles?
It's a question that has haunted humanity for centuries.
It has.
And Antigone doesn't give us any easy answers.
It does. It just presents us with this like stark, agonizing dilemma
Yeah.
and forces us to wrestle with it.
It does.
And we can't forget about Creon,
Oh, Creon, what a figure.
right? He's this leader.
In a position of authority.
He's blinded by his own convictions.
Consumed by his own sense of right and wrong.
He fails to see the bigger picture.
He can't see beyond his own perspective.
And his refusal to consider other viewpoints
Listen.
leads to the destruction of his own family
And chaos.
and chaos in the city.
It's a cautionary tale
It really is.
about the dangers of pride.
And an unwillingness to listen.
You really listen to other perspectives.
It's like Sophocles is saying,
Yeah.
that true leadership requires
More than just strength.
humility,
Humility.
empathy,
And willingness to consider.
different viewpoints.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it all falls apart.
It's so easy for things to go wrong,
It is.
even with the best intentions.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions, right?
And what about the play's exploration of female agency?
Oh, that's a big one. We've talked about Antigone.
We have.
We've talked about Electra.
And Clytemnestra.
But even Clytemnestra, with all of her flaws,
Right?
forces us to reconsider these traditional gender roles
To challenge those expectations.
and expectations.
These women, despite living in this patriarchal society,
Yeah.
they refuse to be silenced.
They refuse to be silenced.
Demand to be heard.
Their stories remind us that women throughout history
Throughout history,
have been powerful forces.
absolutely for change. They've challenged norms.
They've defied expectations.
They've shaped our world,
They've shaped our world, even when their contribution
even when their contributions have been overlooked.
has been overlooked or marginalized.
The struggle that continues
It really does.
to this day.
And that's maybe one of the most enduring legacies
Maybe.
of Antigone.
What is it?
It's this play that speaks across time and cultures,
It does.
reminding us of the complexities
The complexities of human nature.
of human nature,
The struggle for justice.
the struggle for justice and equality,
And the power of individual conscience.
the power of individual conscience when faced with this
Overwhelming power.
overwhelming power.
It's an incredible play.
So we're going to wrap up
Okay.
our deep dive into Antigone,
Sounds good.
but we want to leave you with a question.
A question to ponder.
Could Antigone have achieved her goal
Burying her brother.
in a different way?
Was this clash inevitable?
Was a collision with Creon inevitable?
Or was there another path?
Was there another path
Another possible outcome?
that Sophocles didn't explore?
It's a question that's been debated for centuries
It has.
by scholars and theatergoers alike.
And it's what makes Antigone so relevant.
How thought-provoking.
It doesn't provide easy solutions.
Or simple moral pronouncements.
It challenges us to confront
To grapple with
the complexities of human experience
those big questions.
that have haunted us for millennia.
They have.
So we encourage you to continue this exploration.
On your
Revisit those pivotal moments in the play.
consider Antigone's choices.
Consider Creon's motivations.
Listen to the chorus.
Let those questions linger.
Let them spark further reflection
Let them spark deeper understanding
and a renewed appreciation.
for the power of Sophocles' masterpiece.
It's a masterpiece for the ages.
It really is.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.